Welcome to Tangie's Tapestry, where spirituality, law, motherhood, and relationships weave into a rich and meaningful discussion. I'm your host, Tangie, a mother, daughter, sister, friend, and an avid entrepreneur. Join me as I share my personal journey, explore faith-based discussions, and offer valuable legal insights. Each episode is designed to inspire, empower, and connect with individuals on their unique path. So let's dive into today's topic and embark on this journey together.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tangie's Tapestry. I'm your host, Tangie, and if you're joining me today for season 2, episode 3, let me tell you, this season is all about bold conversations that touch on faith, relationships, self-care, and personal growth. So, as you can see, I have 2 special guests with me today, and I am super excited for this episode because we are talking about single ladies, and this is a girl chat on love, dating, and red flags. Okay, so as y'all know, in my last episode, episode 2, there was some conversations about estate planning and why it's so crucial for parents to have a will in place, especially if you have young minor children. But today we're going to be shifting gears, and February is the month of love, so we are definitely switching the topic up a little bit and talking about dating. Okay, so as I said, I have 2 incredible women before me today. And so, first up, I'm going to introduce, we have Brashae Loving. She's a fun, loving, goofy, no nonsense 42-year-old Virgo, a successful working mom, a hopeless romantic, and very picky about the company she keeps. She's dating for true love, but is tired of love bombs. And we're going to get into what love bombs is, right? So, welcome, Brashae.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going. It's going for a Monday. It's going. um, and so I'm glad to have you on for my first guest, as my first guest speakers. So I'm so excited. Thank you. All right. And so then we have next up is Shai Harris. She's a multi hyphenate powerhouse. She's an ex wife, a frequent dater. Okay, y'all frequent. Okay, not. I'm trying to get on that level. A single mom, a stay at home DJ, a law grad, an accountant, a comedic writer, and truly an experience all on her own. She's a whole vibe, y'all. Welcome, Shai.
Thank you.
All right. So, ladies, before we jump right into today's topic, here on this podcast, I always have a scripture to kind of back up whatever the topic is on. And so, because we're talking about, finding love and dating, the scripture that I have in place for today's episode is from Proverbs 4:23, and it reads, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." And so y'all know in this, modern dating world, guiding your heart is pretty important. And so we're going to break it down today about love, dating, and red flags and everything else in between. Okay. So let's go ahead and just jump right on in. I do have an icebreaker for you ladies. Okay. So feel free to figure out who's going to answer this one first. But What's one thing about dating today that completely surprises you or frustrates you? Just
I would
one
say
thing.
for me, it is my peers and their perspective on dating. It frustrates me to no end. Like, I know so many women who are expecting the world and not providing enough. And some of the guys too. It's like, be honest, be who you are, be authentically you and continue to level up. Get your
Right.
energy right and your experience might be a lot better than what it has been.
Okay. Okay. And you, Brashae?
I would say what's shocking to me is that um like the roles, I feel like the roles that men and women used to have back in the day just don't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like chivalry is dead. So it's really hard to find, like men who really want to open up their hearts, because by this time in age in life, a lot of the men I encounter are uh, have been hurt. So I find it shocking that so many people just don't want true love, basically. They're afraid of it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I for me, I think it's the microwave mentality. Like that's what frustrates me is everyone wants to move so fast. And I'm not there. I mean, I'm not ready for you to just come up over my house and we just went on one day to Starbucks.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like slow your roll. So that's what frustrates me when it comes to dating. It's just everyone wants to just move so quick and I'm like, let's take it slow. Let me get to know you. Let me, fill you out a little bit. So, Brashae, you and I had a conversation I think maybe like a week ago or so about love bombing.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into love bombing and red flags. And so you mentioned how you were tired of love bombs.
Hmm.
So if anyone's not familiar with love bombing, at least my understanding of love bomb is like when someone comes on really hot and heavy, they're over the top commitment or compliments, and they want to shower you with gifts and constant attention, but then only to kind of maybe pull away a little bit later. Like it's all there's like hot and heavy, and then it's
Yes.
like they ghost you. So tell me a little bit about this love bomb
So
situation.
that's exactly what it is. It's almost like the excitement of meeting this new person is at its height, right? And
Hmm.
people are jumping in head first, just to experience some form of connection, right?
Hmm.
Whether it be to fulfill whatever they're missing, right? Just needing a companion, just want to shower you with all this love, and there's a lot of times everything is like over the top. The compliments, the gifts, the text messages, the phone calls, the I think you're the queen of the universe. I could see spending the rest of my life with you, and some of these men I have not even went on a date with yet. This is just
Wow,
phone conversation of them looking at my Facebook page, and some of them even take it to God. I have the gift of discernment.
girl,
Like,
those ones.
well, I mean, but I haven't even gotten upset with you yet. You don't even know what my temper looks like. You talking about you
That.
spend the rest of your life. And so
Hmm.
a lot of times I have to say, how do you know this? How do you know that I'm just this amazing woman? You haven't
Right.
experienced me, haven't even met, and so I think a lot of people are just fascinated with the idea. And then when they're tired of all the work it takes to put in all this love bombing, then the real them sets in, and then that's when you get crickets.
So basically, you met their representative in the beginning,
Right. It's the
but not
representative stage.
yeah,
Uh-huh. And
yeah.
so I usually will say, let's see if you're around in 6 months.
Wow, you give them 6 months, huh?
Uh-huh. I
Six
mean,
months
six
that
months
their
is how I
representative has quit.
uh,
By the 6 months, usually their representative is tapped out. So you
mhm.
get to
Okay.
see the real, raw, unapologetic person that they really are. Usually it's 3 raccoons in a trench coat, but that's when you find out at 90-day mark to 6 months. That's about when
Yeah,
it shows up.
yeah. And that depends on if it's a long distance relationship or not,
That is a factor.
because the people in other countries, they love bomb you even quicker than the people in person. They start with a love bomb. You
Mm.
look like my queen of the earth on your picture.
Look, if I can't reach you in 20 minutes or less, we're not really trying to do nothing. Like,
Listen, I don't know if y'all haven't been on any of these dating apps, but
come
you
on
know how you
over.
can like you set your like I think the Facebook dating app, I've set my preference and I've been very strict about what my preference is. It's like, okay, someone here in Maryland. And I be getting people from all over I'm like, Facebook don't care nothing about my preferences, do they?
They
Like,
don't.
Facebook did me right.
we gonna have to this might be
You
there might be
right?
a part two of the girl chat. So we have the conversation about the love bombs, and so Shay, what are some major red flags that you think women overlook in the early stages of dating?
I really don't know. I mean, because I date differently than nearly all of my peers, so I don't navigate the same way that others do. I'm having a blast.
Well, tell us
I date
how you navigating. What are you
I date
doing?
for fun.
Okay.
I do want to be married. I was married for 12 years. It was a terrible experience, but I do
Mm,
want marriage again. So I
okay.
date for fun because if I can have fun with you now, we're going to have fun until Jesus comes twice or thrice more. That's where I'm
Okay.
at. That's what I'm on. I got to look at this joker every day.
Mm-hmm.
Got to deal with you. You leave your socks in the floor, or we have different cleaning strategies. So I honestly just tell people to follow the good feelings. Not
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, he feels good in my body, in my arms, but do I feel good about myself around this person? And if you don't, would you
Mm-hmm.
want your children to be like this person? If you don't, why are you messing with them? Unless it's strictly a sexual thing. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is strictly casual. You'll never meet my children.
Mm.
Like,
Hmm.
so
Okay.
for me, that's not a red flag. But if I'm looking at somebody like, yo, I can really see you like being around for a while, then it's how do you manage your emotions? How do you
Mm.
manage your energy? How do you manage your money? How do you manage your time? How do you manage me? Because if you fumbling me, we
Mm.
can't be together. That's
Okay.
it.
Yes.
That's
But if you
good.
just want to go to Top Golf, run the play. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm off at 5.
Mm.
I'll be there at 6:30.
Shay, you gonna have to probably do like what is it? A course on dating.
I would love to because I'm so sick of my friends complaining. They're like, "You
It's
always going out, you always
physical.
dating." Because I
Yeah.
like to have fun. I want to enjoy the company of somebody that's easy on the eyes that treats me well.
Okay, that easy on the eyes part. See, and for me,
I
that's just go ahead. You want to say something, Brashae? What?
Well, I just wanted to touch on what Shay was saying because I was actually having a conversation with a young gentleman yesterday, and he talked about how women are so independent these days that they don't
Mhm.
want to submit to a man. And to go back to
Give me
what
something to submit to.
is if it, can you handle my emotions? Because if I'm submitting to you, I'm giving you my power, right? And so
Mm.
when I have a problem,
Mhm.
right, and I come to you with it, I don't want a person who can't take accountability. I don't want a person who doesn't want to cater to my feelings. I don't want a person who says I'm over analyzing. What does that even mean? I'm
Right.
analyzing what you're doing. You're giving me something to analyze, right? So him and I, we talked about how a lot of women would love to submit, but a man wants to be strong in so many things except for strong in his emotional intelligence and his ability
And
to
his mental
cater
health.
to a woman. They feel like it's
Yeah.
weakness. At least some of them
Mhm.
do. When I feel like it's the strongest feature that a man can have, to be able to just lay your feelings out and you don't
Right.
care if I mean because really when I lay my feelings out, I'm giving you the power to really know what's going on deep inside of me. It ain't because I want you to look at me as weak or tell me I'm
Right.
overanalyzing. So
Right.
when Shai said, or when Shay said she's looking at all of these different things, it's so important because that's how you distinguish the guys that you're just gonna have fun with. It's not gonna really go anywhere. And then the guys that you say, oh well, I'm not gonna fall in love with potential, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna fall in love with who he is authentically. So what
Now,
is he showing me now? Right?
Okay, come
Besides
on, Brashae.
mm-hmm.
Come on with it, girl.
one of
Yes.
one of my one of
When
my mentors asked me when I got married. She said, "Are you okay with him being this person for the rest of your life?"
Mm,
I didn't take that to heart, and I should have.
yeah.
Are you okay with him being this person for the rest of his days? The rest of the time you know him, are you okay with that? The answer was no, because I had hope. Hope can kill you.
the
Mhm.
I
potential.
hope, I wish, I pray that he's going to be the man I need him to be. But if he don't want to be that, then it's not even a real thing. But
Right.
going back to what Brashae said about, emotional intelligence and emotional healing, one of my
Mhm.
questions is, what is your relationship like with your therapist? Because
Mm.
that implies that you have one and you see one. And if you can't answer that, I don't want you, because I'm 45. By this time in life, we have been through some things. Most of us have children. We've had failed relationships.
Mhm.
We've lost in some great way.
Yeah.
It could be anything. And how do you manage that? How are
Mm.
you handling that? How are you handling yourself when you go through your darkest days?
Right.
Or something
Mm-hmm.
happens today. It was a great day until 12:33 p.m. and you were reminded of something that brought you to your knees. How do you handle that,
Mhm.
and how can I support you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
And if you
good.
won't allow me to support you and you don't know how to handle it, I
Mm.
can't be there with you,
Right.
Right. If I
That
can't get in the trenches with you,
that.
because I
come
want to get in
by
the
Mhm.
yourself.
trenches with you, because I
Yeah.
want you in the trenches with me.
Yeah.
Ain't no
Right.
atheist in this foxhole.
Oh, come
Exactly.
on.
Ain't no
Okay.
atheist in the foxhole.
Amen,
You
girl.
got to believe in something. You got to cling to something. And
Yes.
I, when
Wait,
I,
hold on. You say that again. You said ain't no atheist in the foxhole.
right.
That's
When you're in the deepest, darkest moment, when it's fight or flight, when it's life or death, I need
mhm.
to know you have my back, my front, and my sides too. That at minimum you are praying good things over me.
Come on. That's what I'm
If
talking
you
about.
knew I was thirsty, why didn't you fill it up?
Ooh,
Right.
You knew I
might need
needed
that.
a
We might need
charger.
to
Why
pass
didn't you
around a
bring
little
one?
offering plate.
Okay.
And not because I asked you, because you care enough about me to see the need and fill it. I had a
Yeah.
dude, I promise you, I've been praying like, Lord, I want a different type of experience in my life. Like, I'm
Mhm.
tired of living at a 4. Let's bring it up to an 8. Well,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
guess what? My prayers were surprisingly answered, and someone sent for me. Like,
Mhm.
I want you to come to LA today or today. And that happened, and he said, I wanted you to come here so you could experience something different, even if it was a different vibe in a home.
Mhm.
I opened my home to you just to chill, to sit and relax, to breathe different air, to have a different vibration, a different frequency. And that messed me up in the best way possible.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep.
Yeah, because he saw, like, I know you're a single mom. I know you're dealing with your kid's father. The divorce has been over so many years, but it's still a daily issue for you. Come on out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Come on out. And it was, if I hadn't known him so long, I would have thought it was love bombing, because, I mean,
Mhm.
good things happen on this trip. Like, oh, so we going to Beverly Hills to pick up your wallet. Wow, that's crazy. Like, oh, this is a lot of sushi, and it's all delicious.
Mhm.
Thank you. But
Right. So that's why it's so important with with that scripture with the Proverbs 4:23 because
mhm,
when we ignore like the red flags or we let someone like love bomb us into relationships, then we're not protecting our hearts the
right.
way that we should. So um I'm glad. So is he still in the on the I don't want to say on the list or not, but is
There's
he
no list right now.
okay?
It's just him, and I'm just seeing where it's at, because there's some things I need to focus on with me. That's another thing that really frustrates me about, my peers in dating. You want
Mm-hmm.
the sixes, right? The sixes. He's 6 foot. He's got the 6-pack abs. He's making 6 figures. He's
Yeah.
all of these things, but you ain't seen the inside of the gym since '94. You were in high school.
Okay. All
You
right.
you making you think you doing okay making 45 grand a year. What can you add to? We say women, they ask, what do you bring to the table? We say we are the table. What is your table made of?
Hmm.
Solid oak, pine, plywood, plastic. What kind of table are we talking about here?
I cannot with you.
Is this a TV tray? Because I know some girls is bringing a TV tray.
Oh, child. All right, girl. Let's go. Let's.
Solid oak, baby. Like, what we talking about?
All right. So let's shift some gears here. Into the next question about dating with children. So each of us have young children,
Mhm.
and we are single moms, right? So um I would ask that how do you balance being a mom while putting yourself out there in dating? So Brashae, you want to answer
For
that?
me, for me, I feel like it's important to not bring a guy around my son for um, as long as possible that it takes for me to get to know and trust who he is as a person. Um,
Agree.
there are so many kids that be put in unsafe situations just because, we want to hang out with somebody that we barely know. So, and I usually don't even plan a date with a guy, knowing that I have a kid and I have time that needs to be committed to my kid, especially because I work all week. So I
Mm-hmm.
usually won't even go out on a date with him until I know that I really want to see him in person. And so most times I'll even do a video call if I met him on like online.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'll do a video call for a good amount of time, just to physically see in person, how he conducts himself and things like that before I even plan a date with myself by him, by myself with him. So
Okay.
I just think kids can get attached, people can get attached to your kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then it not work out. And
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like my house or my home is a revolving door of
Right.
men coming in and out.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's definitely important to just definitely keep some boundaries up there, even for
Okay.
because my personal time is my time. And so
Mm-hmm.
giving that up to a guy, he better be worth it. And I'm not,
Right.
because I could take myself out and take myself out on a date for a meal and for a movie and for some live music or whatever
Yeah.
it is I want to see that night. And I
Mm-hmm.
always meet people while I'm out. And so I
Right.
don't need a man on my side just to say a man is on my side.
Mhm.
Okay.
So
That's
yeah, definitely dating with kids, you got to have boundaries.
Yeah. That's that where I was talking about earlier with the microwaving stuff. I recall, and for the record, I have not been on a lot of dates for many, many years. And I finally went on a date the end of last year. And yeah, girl. One and done date, okay? But dude was already like, "Oh, I can come over there and to your house and shuffle the snow." And
No, you cannot.
we went on one date. You're not coming to my home. I'm not even wanting you to know what city I live in.
Mhm.
I don't give men
Like,
my real number. You get a Google Voice number. You ain't gonna be reverse
yeah,
searching me hanging out in front of the bushes.
yeah, and
That is not how we play this game.
it was off-putting, and it was like you need to, just slow down. Like
They see that
I
as
have
chivalrous.
daughters.
We have
Yeah,
to recognize that. They see that as part as chivalry because
right.
their grandfathers and them was coming to the crib to pick grandma up. You
Yeah,
went
and
to
that's
her home. You knocked on the
yep,
door. You showed up. You took her somewhere. Us in this generation, you ain't taking me nowhere. I watch too
right.
much Dateline. I fit in a suitcase, my guy. It's not
And
gonna
listen,
happen.
right. And when you're ready to, like, if the date isn't working out and you're ready to go, like, what you gonna do? Be like, can you please take
Go.
me home? No,
Uber.
I'm out.
Always
I'm
have
leaving.
money enough to say no. That
Yeah.
was one of the biggest things my mother taught me.
Hmm.
Always have enough money to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Mhm.
if I'm going out with somebody, I know I can get home.
Mm-hmm.
That's straight
So,
up. Like, if I can't afford to get myself home, I can't afford to go with you.
yeah. So Shay, when do you think is the right time to introduce like someone to your children? Because you have a son and a daughter, right?
Correct. And
Mm-hmm.
that my daughter is my size now. So that's another dynamic that we have to, think of in protecting our children.
Mm-hmm.
My children have only met two people that I've dated, and one of them was by accident.
Okay.
It's like, oh, yeah, I guess we're hanging out as a
Yeah.
crew. Didn't want that, but the other person, it was an intentional meeting, and it was like 3 years in.
Okay.
And my kid fell in love with his kids, and now she said maybe 6 months ago, how dare you, where are they? You guys break up, and now I can't have fun with my friends. I was like, you met them girls twice, you're tripping. But in their mind, that's something they hold on to. I don't like introducing my kids to anybody. You don't need to know my kids. You don't need to know my address. You don't need to know my real phone number. You don't need to know a lot. You need to know what I tell you. But I do know that being that standoffish is not a very inviting vibration. That's not a very inviting energy.
Yeah.
But you
That's
ask me about me. Don't ask me about my kids.
Yeah, that's really good. I never thought about a Google phone number
I'll tell
instead of
everybody else.
using my number to give to anybody. I'm
You're
about
not
to add
paying
that.
Spokio
I'm about
a
to add
dollar
that.
to get all my info.
Right. And it's free. The
Yeah.
Google numbers are free. So I might actually have to give me a
Hello.
Google number. Yeah. So
I
have either
strongly recommend it.
yeah, have either of you ever dated someone who wasn't understanding about your responsibilities as a mom? Because I know for me,
No.
I am extremely busy, and you know, of course, I'm dating. So for me, I'm dating for marriage. I'm not dating just to be shacking up with somebody or hooking up with people or whatever. You know, that's just not for me right now. But I definitely want to make sure that whoever I'm dating understands that I have a busy schedule with a very active child. And so, again, have either of you ever dated someone who didn't understand those responsibilities?
One person, we were chatting online, and he was like, well, I don't come second to anybody. I said, good. And I ended it right there. I ain't saying nothing else to him. There's nothing else to discuss.
Right. What you
Yeah,
say?
I had a couple of guys that like I have met over the years, just like online, where
Hmm.
you start to have those phone conversations, and the worst thing to me that will get you blocked is, where are you? Why aren't you responding? I'm living life. My phone is not pasted up on my forehead with me looking to see who's texting me back and when. And so when they're putting a time constraint and wondering why I'm not responding and forgetting that I'm a mother first, and when I get off work, my duty is not to just go, have this long drawn out phone conversation or text conversation with you, then they immediately lose my interest, right? Because to me, when I tell you I have a kid, you should already know that I'm not going to be at your beck and call, and I dang sure ain't going to be looking at to see when you messaging me every 5 minutes and responding back to you, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, they lose my interest real quick because I already know they just too needy, and who needs all of that? When I have a kid, I don't
I
need
don't need another kid.
another kid.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
I
that's
don't know. My situation is different. One, my primary dating experience is someone who worked from home or worked for themselves. So my schedule is flexible, as was his. So we could meet up in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. We
mhm,
never met up on weekends unless it was a Sunday where my kids were with their father, and his kids were with their grandparents or something like that.
mm,
So it's very different. Like, someone asked me about, how do you deal with guys that, they might have an overbearing mother, or their children, this or that. I said, I date men who are old enough to have deceased parents, vasectomies, and grandchildren. That's real for me, because it's like, I don't want to deal with certain things.
Okay.
It just makes my life a lot easier. Like, the gentleman I'm seeing now, he's retired.
So you're very intentional with who you're selecting to engage in dating with, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes and no, because it's like, show me what you can do. What do
Mm-hmm.
you want? How flexible are you? Now, I know you want to know how flexible I am in more regards than one. So how flexible are you? What are you bringing to this table that I've built?
Okay.
How can we accommodate one another? If you can't accommodate me, or at least meet me somewhere in the middle, then nah, it's cool. It's okay. You still get your birthday. You still get Christmas. You just don't get Shay. It's all right. I'm not for everybody.
Okay. All right, so shifting to modern dating and the rules, my last question for you ladies is there's always the debate about who should pay for the date. Should women shoot their first shot? And even whether people should be exclusive from day one. So, what's your take on modern dating culture? Um, Either one of you, Brashae?
I'll go ahead and chime in on this one. So,
Okay.
it's funny because I feel like a lot of people will automatically think the man is supposed to pay for the date. But I've done a lot of research and also having my own mind and opinion about it. I
Okay.
think it's whoever asks the person on the date.
Yes.
I mean, and realistically, I'm waiting for the man to ask me so that he know he paying. And that's what it all goes down to, because I
Right.
wouldn't have it any other way, right? But
Exactly.
if I meet a guy and we're dating and he's been pampering me and catering to me as a woman, I will pull out my wallet in a minute and bless him with a dinner or two. Like, I feel
Okay.
like men need to be spoiled too, right? Like, we
Mhm.
need to show them that they're, appreciated and wanted. But I'm definitely waiting for him to ask me first on that first date. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I agree with that. If I ask you, I'm prepared to pay for everything. But when we go out on dinners, if he invited me, I always try to have cash on me so I can pay the tip.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just, it's an offer. I'm
Yeah.
offering it. If he stops me, hey, I'll stop. It's also, I just, it's frustrating to me that so many women I know will say how they wish men were so much more emotionally intelligent. They wish men were this and wish men were that, but you are holding a different standard in certain regards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are raising, are you raising your child in a way that they become this guy you don't want him to be? Well, you the man, you should pay. You got this, you got that. But you want to know that a man is emotionally intelligent, and he's like, yeah, I have this going on. I cannot do these things at this stage. And that can be embarrassing for a lot of men too. So we have to, as women, find this balance of,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have a standard,
Right.
but also there are exceptions. And I'll tell anybody, I told this to a friend over the summer. I said, lower your expectations, but keep your standards high.
That right
These
there.
men were not raised like you.
Say that again. Say that again about the.
Lower your expectations, but keep your standard high. I expect for these guys to be trash. And when they aren't, I am pleasantly surprised. Like, oh my gosh, you knew to hold my door. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Right.
And
Or
so
Yeah.
oh my
that
God.
also creates this environment where I am expressing a tremendous amount of gratitude.
Mhm.
And he feels that. And then now we have this volley of higher energy, of higher frequency. Instead of, I can't believe he didn't open my door.
Right.
Really?
Because
You could have
were
said,
they're expecting it. Yeah.
right, you could have said, I like when a man opens my door.
Right.
Mhm.
And the way you say it can compel him to open every single door he
Every
ever sees.
time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You may never touch a door handle again. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But you have to create an environment where someone feels free enough to do those things and exercise that or learn it. Because again, he might not have ever recognized that that was so important. He
That's
might have grown up in
that.
the don't love these hoes type situation. You were
Okay.
saying, I'm sorry.
That's funny that you say that, because like I met this guy who I was dating for a little bit, and he sat in the car while I pumped my own gas. Okay, which I am not used to, and it created the foundation for me to give him the boot, which ended up happening, right?
Yeah.
And when I mentioned it to one of my friends, one of my guy friends, who's just a friend, right? He goes, "Oh, that's the basics." And I thought,
In what universe is
it's
that the
the basics
basics?
for him. But again, this guy who sat in my car, either he hadn't learned it or just didn't want to do it. One or
Yeah,
the
my
other.
son is 8, and I
Well,
told him, I
well,
said,
first of all,
I'm going to wait. I usually get gas right after I drop them off at school because there's no one at the gas station. But I have to start waiting until after school so he can learn to pump my gas. That is an intentional thing on my part.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Pump gas?" I said, "Yes, there's some woman who later who will love that you know to do that."
So let me ask you, Brashae, did he have his own vehicle? Did he have a car?
He had his own vehicle. What
Okay,
happened?
because I was wondering, maybe because
No,
he don't got a car, he don't know how to pump no gas.
we had decided to take my car because
Gotcha.
he
Okay.
drove all the way to my house from Goodyear. So I said we could take my car, right? You drove
Yeah.
out no gas. I got to get gas anyway because I don't want to get it when I have to go to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let's take my car. But in my mind, even if I pay for the gas, you better be out ready to pump it. And most men that I have dated, with the exception of one, has paid and pumped. So for you to not do either,
But
Well,
it was a no for me.
is there harm in saying, "Can you pump my gas for me, please?"
So again, there is no harm in saying that, but I'm a person who operates on intention, right? So if I want to say that at that very moment, and I'm disturbed to the point where my face and my demeanor won't be right,
What is that?
because again, I agree with my friend that that's the basics. Because again, all the men that I've dated to date, right? So my experience, even though my expectations were just as high as my standards in that case, right? Um, I knew that if I mentioned my gas and pumping it, it would have came out all wrong. And I
yeah.
was not ready to have that conversation. And so it was a no for me. I
Right.
Mhm.
We'll just add this to the list.
Listen, we live and we learn, ladies. I do have one other little question though about because I know we mentioned that we've met guys on these dating apps. Do either of you find that these dating apps have made it easier or harder for us to find real, like authentic love?
I don't think it's changed at all.
Okay.
If you are in a position to find real love, you will find it wherever you find it.
Or it will
The apps
find
don't
you.
make it harder or easier. The app is just a different vehicle.
Right.
We used to go to the clubs and the bars. Now
Hmm.
we're on the apps. Some people go to church. I met an ex-husband at church. Won't be doing that again. So it's really, what are you inviting? What are you allowing? What are you resisting?
Hmm.
The location is irrelevant. You can meet somebody in a bathroom.
Yeah.
You can meet somebody at a restaurant. You can meet somebody walk into the mailbox looking like straight up garbage. And
Mm.
usually you meet the finest ones when you look a hot mess.
I know I have.
Right. I go into Trader Joe's looking like I'm on a struggle bus, and I see this man looking like good dreams and money and great credit, smelling like amazingness. Well, shucks.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just, I do believe that the apps allow for people to mask, and that I don't like. But in all actuality, when I met people in any other location, I probably met their representative anyway. So what
Yeah.
difference is it if they're a keyboard warrior, if they're hiding behind that facade or an avatar, or if they're hiding behind their representative in real life? I
Right.
still got to take the time. I still have the responsibility to get to know this person as best I can. That's just me.
To Shay's point, the masking, right? So me, when I for me, I haven't been signing up on the dating apps as much these days. Um, but I still get a flood of messages on Facebook. And
Mhm.
so whenever I see a guy's profile
Mhm.
doing too much where he too pretty, it's an automatic no, right? Because there's no way that this could be a real person. There's just, I mean, it's a real person somewhere, but it ain't you, right?
Yeah, I don't. That Facebook app, dating app, is trash.
Well,
It's
and I don't do
it's
the dating
garbage.
app. I just get. I think I need to go and check my friendship filters or something because I get a lot of just messenger messages
Oh, like in your personal,
and
in your
friend
personal.
requests.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't. Yeah,
I don't
my
know
stuff
that.
my I think my settings are too tight. I
Mine
mean,
are way
I
tight.
like
go
if you can't,
check my.
if you don't got a friend of a friend, and you don't know, you can't be
You don't
inbox.
know me, you don't know me.
You
Well,
can't
and
send
I
me no
think
mess.
that's the problem. My friends of friends is accepting friend requests from anybody these days. I mean,
Oh wow, yeah, you got to tighten that up.
It's challenging, but it's I'll tell anybody, it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
don't have to be hard and have this wall up and it's like, well, I
Mhm.
want this in my relationships. It comes through. And
mhm,
if you are avoiding, like Tangi said, if you're avoiding that microwave experience, you want more of a crock pot or overnight smoker situation, then you're going to take the time. You have to relax those limits and boundaries just enough to see if this person is just having a bad day,
Mhm.
if they spoke out of turn and that's really not the person they are. You know,
Right.
we have to give the grace and space that we want ourselves
Mhm.
because
now,
we've all been out of pocket.
do you log the red flags? For example, do you make a list of the red flags before you reach your conclusion that this person's got to go?
I just take it as I
I
go.
think
I
did you
mean,
pause?
I'm not a tally or a spreadsheet. No, I'll be like, you know, I don't like that you did that, and I'll wait to see how they respond. Like this really ain't my cup of tea. I don't move this way. What's good?
Right. And not a literal tally or spreadsheet, but just a mental,
Yeah.
store it in your mental Rolodex so that
Oh
way
yeah.
when it
I put a
happens
little
again,
feather under my hat, a little pen under my hat,
yeah. Because for me, it's often once I start to see the red flags, it's a domino
and
effect,
usually it is. It
Yeah,
right?
usually is.
my red flags radar is, and maybe it's because I haven't dated so much. It's just like I really can just see, like, just immediately. I just be like, I can't do it. Like, just right
And
off the
that
top.
I have found that the immediate no's
Mhm.
for me that does not work
Yeah.
because I notice that if I say nope, I've missed something. Not to
Mhm.
say it might not be a no later, but I
Yeah.
might be missing out on an experience or an exchange that is valuable to me or that is something to reflect on later. Not in a bad way, like, yeah, that's the guy who strung me up and held me hostage for 2 days. But, you know,
Yeah. And I think,
it
yeah,
be
that's
something that is like, okay, I learned something about myself because I firmly believe that we attract what we are. We
So
attract what we are. We attract the energy that we are putting out. So if I'm putting out an energy of that results in guys who are emotionally unavailable, emotionally unintelligent, they don't want to do this, they don't eat that, they all these blocks, all these no's. It's like, okay, so what do I need to address within me?
Yep,
It's
and I
something
think
in me.
that's why I have remained single for so long,
Hmm.
because I needed to figure out what was going on with me, that I was attracting all of these toxic relationships,
Hmm.
and I had to, like, do some serious soul searching, and so I ended up being soul searching for a little bit longer than I
Than
anticipated.
anticipated. But a lot of
Like,
times
the
too, we have
years
to
has went
remember
by.
that I'm an attractive chick. I'm gonna attract all kinds of stuff. I attract good, I attract bad, I attract crazy, I attract sane, I attract everything because
Right.
I'm just that magnetic. I'm just that attractive. And I
Yeah.
do. So it's not that I attract such jerks. I choose jerks. Well, I chose jerks. Let's go past
Yeah.
tense.
Yeah.
I chose poorly and I got a poor result.
Okay.
Now, you know, it's like, okay, I'm not choosing that again. I'm gonna choose this over here.
Okay.
So
So,
would
go ahead, Brashae.
add one thing to what you guys were saying when you attract, right?
Mm-hmm.
You attract who you are, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
one thing that I have realized is that when you are a healer, when you naturally want
Yeah.
to make people better, help them, encourage them, empower them, when that is your personality type and it's who you are put here to inspire, to
Mhm.
you operate at a higher vibrational level, you are going to attract people in need of that.
Yes.
The
That
people
part.
of that are going to automatically cling to you and not in so many words ask for your help.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're
And
gonna draw on it.
yeah,
Right. But that's when you.
they're gonna draw on that energy. And that's
That's
why it's
yeah.
so important for people who are healers like us, because you are who you hang with.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put up those boundaries so that they don't suck the life out of you. And you
That
have
part.
to
Yep.
who who really wants to help themselves, right? Because I
Right.
can't care more than you care, right? So
Mhm.
so
That
when
goes back to the therapy question.
right,
Yeah. Yep.
right,
You
What do
have.
you
because
do?
Yep. You have to have those boundaries, and you have to have discernment, because you have to know who you can help. Because if you're pouring all of yourself into somebody, and they ain't giving you nothing back,
You can't pour from an empty cup.
right?
Ain't nothing
Exactly.
in
So
here.
you have to use
Empty
discernment.
cup to empty cup.
Yeah, you have to.
Ain't nothing
So
left.
all right, ladies. This has been such a fun and exciting, insightful conversation. But before we wrap it up, I wanted to ask you, what's the best piece of dating advice you've ever received or wish you had known sooner?
Ooh. Mine is a piece of advice. I did not receive this piece of advice in the dating context. I actually received it when I was heavily pregnant with my first child. And a woman who I will never know who she was. She was very random, stranger. She says, "Can I offer you a piece of unsolicited advice?" And because she framed it that way, I said, "Absolutely, I'm all ears. What do you have to say?" And she said, "People are going to have all kinds of opinions about what you do. You know, breastfeed, bottle feed, co-sleep, have the baby down the hall, have a baby in a bassinet, you know, wear your baby, use a stroller, cloth or disposable diapers." She said, "Forget all of that. At 2:30 in the morning, when your baby is screaming and you're engorged and there's poop in the bed and in the baby's hair, none of those people with all those opinions will be there. You do what works for you. Do
Hmm.
what works." And I promise you, I have applied that to so many situations in my life.
Yeah, that's
Do
good.
what works. If it does not work, do not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Find something else that works and do that thing. And so with dating, I have applied that. I'm going to do what works. It doesn't work for me for you to live in surprise. Surprise, I'm not coming. It's not happening. It doesn't work for me for you to be in an ethically non monogamous relationship. That's cool for y'all. I don't want no parts of that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work for me if you don't want to come see me, or the only time you want to see me is after 9 p.m. It don't work for me.
Okay.
So it has served me well.
All right. Good stuff. And what about you, Brashae? Same question.
um I would say the best dating advice that I have received to date would be from Mr. Denzel Washington. I saw a video that he made.
You leaving
And
here with something? No. No,
man,
there's a meme that goes around from him
Yeah,
that says,
I'm
I'm
leaving
leaving
here
here
with
with
something.
something."
I'm leaving here with something.
I love it. Well, so he's a very wise man, and I appreciate the male perspective, especially men with wisdom, right? And who have been
Right.
with. And the one thing I will never know is how women make men feel and how men make women feel, right? I just know how I feel, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, uh, the advice that he gave was that the human psyche is just, it's a powerful thing, right? And when women come in my nature where I just want to, basically, I'm a mama bear, right? I want to come in and I'm like healing and happy and let's just, figure our lives out and how can I help you? And, how can we, create peace for each other, right?
Right.
And a lot of times we don't wait for the man to even have time to act because men are slower than we are,
For
right?
sure.
We come in and we just, where you want to go? What you want to do? Da, 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 and so to just be patient when you're dating and give men the time, right? Talking to someone and you're interested in them and you really want them to ask you out on a date, but they don't ask you soon enough. And so then you just jump in there and you're like, so you want to meet up? You want to go out? That's not me, right? I'm going to take time and I'm going to let them ask me when they're ready, right? And the same thing goes for, conversations when you're getting to know someone and they got their walls up, don't rush them. Let them take their time just like you would want somebody to respect your
Right.
time, right? And don't make assumptions based on them taking forever, right? Just have conversations. And if they're, to me, if they operate at a level enough to where they can communicate with you, like, hey, I just like to take things slow. Like they should be, you guys should both be mature enough to set the foundation and the
Right.
expectation of the relationship. So I just say the best dating advice is to be patient and to give the man time to respond and cater to you, not in your time, but in his time, and he'll respect you and treat you a lot better in the long run, right? Like that's how I feel. If his intentions are good, if his intentions aren't
Right.
good, it ain't
That
gonna
leads to my second piece of advice. Do background checks. Ain't nobody more active on these apps than somebody else's husband. Check
Mhm.
that. Check
Listen,
that.
y'all already know, as in my attorney self, I'll be over there
Okay.
looking up
How many
all the
divorces do we do?
everything. I'm looking everything up. Once I get your first and last name, I'm looking it all up.
Hey, enter their number in the Cash App. Enter their phone number in the Cash App. Find out what their name
I'm
is.
finding out.
Unless they got
So
now,
What's
so
that?
unless they got a Google phone.
Well, hey, it's a start. It's a start. It's a start.
yeah. Hey, listen. So, I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation. And I hope it's giving you some things to think about, especially when it comes to, us single women dating, being moms. Because, dating can be a little fun. It can be frustrating. It can be exciting. It can also be exhausting, all at the same time. So,
Oh.
but through it all, just remember Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for
Mhm.
everything you do flows from it. So at the end of the day, I think dating is about learning, growing, making wise choices, even sometimes making mistakes along the way. Um, and I think also that scripture reminds us that even though everything flows from our heart, we have to protect ourselves and use wisdom. So the next time I'll be having a married couple come on to discuss the joys and challenges of dating and marriage in today's world. So that'll be episode number 4 next. The following Monday. And I think that one's going to be good. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel because you don't want to miss out on these love topics of the month of February. And shout out to Black History Month too. But until next time, stay safe, stay true, and always keep the faith. So I thank you, ladies, for your time.
Thank you.
And I look forward to we're going to do this again. We're going to
Yes,
have
please.
a girl chat part
Mhm.
2, because there's so much to unpack with just
There's a lot.
women, us women in general, with dating, balancing careers, being moms. There's just so much we could talk about. So I'm so grateful. I'm thankful that you guys are my first guest speakers, and I look forward to more conversations with you ladies.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having us. It's been a
All
great time.
right. All
Bye bye.
right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on this journey through Tangi's Tapestry. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Remember, new episodes drop every second and fourth Monday, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more heartfelt discussions, personal stories, and valuable legal insight. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider sharing it with your family, friends, and followers. Your support means the world to me as I strive to create meaningful content that inspires and empowers. Well, until next time, take care and remember to weave your own unique story into the tapestry of life. See you on the next episode of Tangie's Tapestry.